This episode of TechZilla is sponsored by Domain.com.
When I asked Loyd Case for a hardware primer, good, better, best builds for BioShock, the first thing he said was, "This is not the most challenging game out there." And the truth is, Mr. Loyd Case, I think will agree with me, if you're running a 1080p monitor, 1920 by 1080, you really don't need a $5,000 or $7,000 GPU.
Right.
Well, we should talk about it. I mean,
we're talking about BioShock Infinite here, not BioShock
Infinite.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, not the original, not the original, not the 1999.
BioShock Infinite coming out in 3 days, right? Officially.
No,
the reviews are starting to hit now.
Reviews are hitting now. Actually, it's tomorrow.
Oh, is it tomorrow? Okay.
This is television time. It's shifty.
Okay.
Because we record the day before. So what, I mean, is TechZilla, and I'm going to screw this up.
TressFX.
TressFX.
You're thinking about Tomb Raider now.
I'm thinking about
changing the topic.
I'm going to change the topic. Something that actually makes a Titan, a $1,000 GPU strain.
Well, the TressFX is, for people that don't know that, it's hair, right? It's semi-realistic hair. So in the new Tomb Raider game, Laura Croft's hair kind of moves almost realistically. I mean, you say almost, but if you've never seen it before in a game, it looks pretty darn good.
It's kind of like Pixar-level hair animation applied to a video game.
Right, yeah.
So, and that's the rumor, actually, is that apparently some ex-Pixar people worked on the new Laura Croft game.
So anyway, and the whole game looks really good, and it can bring a Titan relatively to its knees. I mean, it's getting frame rates below 30 frames a second in some scenes. So,
I mean, you know, at this point, you know, is it, when we're looking at this, so we've got like the AMD's latest $150 GPU.
Right.
What's the difference in performance on a 1080p monitor between like this, a 660, and going up to like a 690 or
well, again, it depends. Like one thing you can do with the 690, for example, if you care, is you can really crank up anti-aliasing, right? So you can see no jagged lines anymore, if you care about that kind of stuff.
But in terms of pure frame rates and basic gameplay?
On a 1080p monitor, once you get belong, like we've got a Radeon HD 7870, the equivalent would be like a GTX 660 maybe. You know, you're not going to see a huge performance increase. You'll see hundreds of frames a second, but once you hit 60, it's like not a big deal.
So let's say I have onboard graphics. I bought into the idea that the onboard graphics with my AMD or Intel CPU would be more than enough for 3D gaming.
Right.
What do I get for $150?
This is AMD's latest card, GPU. It's a Radeon HD 760. Let me get the part numbers right. 7790.
Okay.
There we go. 768 stream processors. It's a very good entry-level card. Wins a lot of bang for buck review awards when it was reviewed recently by a number of different sites.
We'll support multiple monitors.
We'll support multiple monitors. You don't want to game on multiple monitors with this card.
Right.
But it'll do great on a single 1080p display.
So basically, gaming, single display, multiple monitors. It's fine to use as a desktop.
Right.
What, you know, if
and of course it'll do crossfire if you want to put a couple of them in a system. But then you might as well just get a $300 card.
So what's the difference between a $150 card and a $250 or $300 card?
This is about a 200 to 225. This is not the GTX 660, but I'm sorry, this is a GTX 660, but not the TI version, the titanium version. So about a $200 to $225 card. You get a little better performance. You get 2 gigs of memory. It's a really nice little card for people who want to spend a little bit more and get a little bit more performance. And
at this point, we still don't want to try to do multiple monitor gaming or QHD gaming on this.
But you can probably turn on 2xAA, for example, and still get away with it on a 1080p display.
So decent frame rates with 2x anti-aliasing. And what are we stepping up to here?
This is about a $250 card. This is a Radeon HD 7870, which is the highest version of AMD's mid-range.
Okay.
If you want to look at it that way. Very nice little bang for the buck card. Really does a nice job with multiple displays. Again, though, one monitor game, right?
So if I want to do...
This is sort of the... If you're running 1080p displays, I wouldn't recommend spending more than whatever this costs. NVIDIA's equivalent to the GTX 660 Ti, or maybe a 670.
So basically, you don't need to spend more than $275, $300 for single monitor 1080p game.
Right.
Okay, and that's with the anti-aliasing turned on and that's everything. So the GTX 690, essentially 2 GPUs on one card.
Right, this is the fastest thing you can get. It's faster than Titan in a lot of games. And you know, it's raw speed. This is if you're driving one of those 30-inch panels, you know, 2560 by 1600, maybe a 27-inch 2560 by 1440 display. It'll do a great job in those.
Or if you want to support like 3 1080p.
You can probably do 3 1080p displays and it'll look great.
Well, at that point, can you turn on the 4x anti-aliasing if you're mounting multiple displays?
Probably in some games, not every game.
Okay. So $150 entry level, $300 is pretty much more than as much as you need
Right.
for a 1080p monitor.
Right.
The $1,000 cards save for multiple monitor gaming
Right.
experiences or QHD if you want to turn any aliasing on. Core i5, Core i7. Does anybody really need a Core i7 for gaming?
No.
Really?
I think you get a Core i5, the 3570. You can use the regular 3570 or the 3570K, which you can overclock if you want.
Okay.
Those should be fine for most games. Quad core.
If I'm like editing movies or photo editing, is that where sort of the extra power in a Core i7 becomes useful?
Right. That's when you start getting being able to run those extra threads can be helpful in some applications, but not for games.
Not for games. So, is gaming still primarily like single core?
No, there's since a lot of games now are console ports, and consoles all have multiple cores now.
Okay.
The game developers have gotten a little smarter about spinning off threads. So a console port and modern PC games handle multiple threads. They just, but they don't go crazy. You're not going to 8 threads, probably not.
Right.
4, yeah, definitely.
So how about when we're looking at memory? Not too long ago we would say 4 gigs is more than enough for most games. Would you start at 8 or 16 at this point?
If you're running 64-bit Windows, which most people are these days, yeah, I would go with 8 gig.
Okay. And again, 16 gigabyte, 32 gigabytes, photo editing, video gaming, photo editing, video editing,
right.
not video gaming.
Right, right.
Cool.
In fact, AMD has this little application you can get from them. I think they charge like $10 or $20 for, which actually it's a RAM disk app, right? And it automatically generates a RAM disk when you boot up. If you have like a 32 gig system, load your game into that and get faster than SSD speeds if you care about that kind of stuff.
Or at least when you're loading the levels, right? All of the gaming doesn't require.
Just remember, it goes away when you turn your computer off, so save your game to your hard drive.
That would be an important thing. Well, okay, one last question before we go. Do you find, do you see any particular, because we get a lot of questions like, I'm running Photoshop, what video card should I buy? I mean, are you seeing much in the way of video card acceleration of Photoshop?
It's more and more happening. First, Photoshop, all of Photoshop most of Photoshop uses OpenGL now, so that's important. The Photoshop blur gallery in CS6 now takes advantage of OpenCL, so actually GPU compute acceleration. That's the only part of Photoshop that is compute right now, but it's still kind of useful.
So it's a start.
Right. And then there's this neat little graphics editing application called MuseMage, which is completely GPU accelerated.
Whoa.
And it's pretty OpenCL, works on both AMD and NVIDIA GPUs.
Very exciting. Right. So I got to ask, gaming at home, you have like the most amazing gaming setup of anybody, because like you and a dozen of your friends can just walk into your...
Six. Half a dozen.
Six. You and a half dozen of your friends can walk into a complete LAN gaming environment. Your personal machine, are you running a single monitor, multiple monitors, a QHD monitor?
I run 3 monitors for desktop work, but 1 monitor for gaming. But it is a 30-inch panel.
Oh, QHD? Right. 2560 by 1600 or 1440?
1600.
And you love it?
Yeah, definitely.
More pixels?
More pixels, the better.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Loyd Case. Where can people find more of your work?
You can find me on Twitter at Loyd Case. I'm doing stuff for both I'm doing stuff for both Will Smith at Tested.com and doing some stuff for Digital Trends.
Awesome. Loyd Case, thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Loyd Case, send us your email questions. Put Loyd Case in the subject line. We'll try to get him to answer your PC questions. By the way, he's got digital photography chops too. You might want to fire out some of those questions. We got more of your emails still to come.
Need a new domain name? Consider registering a new .com. A .com domain name is globally understood and immediately gives your website credibility no matter what name you choose. And the best place to get a new .com domain is at domain.com. Here at Techzilla, we like domain.com because they're affordable, they're reliable, and they're easy to use. Plus, domain.com's active social media presence on Twitter at domain.com and their great customer support make it a fun place to do business. Hey, we have an awesome coupon code with a big 20% off discount off of domain.com's already low prices. Just use the coupon code TechZilla when you check out at domain.com. And that's 20% off, folks. That's big time savings. So don't forget to give the Techzilla coupon code some love. And when you think domain names, think domain.com. And that's a .com.